And joining me now, ladies and gentlemen, as I welcome you aboard, is the Deputy Assistant to President Donald Trump. We welcome in Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Hello, sir.
Greetings. Great to be back.
Well, it's always great to talk to you, sir. So much to talk about. Let's get right to it. Today, we had an announcement from the Justice Department about an intelligence contractor with the kind of bizarre name of Reality Winner, who has been charged with taking classified information and giving it to the news media. And, I mean, she faces, I believe, up to 10 years in prison. How serious is what she has allegedly done here?
I wouldn't like to comment specifically on a sub judice case, but any charge with regards to classified information and the wanton sharing or leaking of it is serious. So the general reality is this is a serious charge.
And without referring to her specifically, then, I mean, Donald Trump has promised that this would be a priority in finding leakers and bringing them to justice. You know, whether or not, you know, I mean, that we could at least have some confidence that that is taking place within the Justice Department, that they are charged with that and they are now trying to get that done, correct?
Well, I think everybody understands that Attorney General Sessions is a very, very serious man. Also, we have to look at what the reality is on the ground. We have an established whistleblower system that is legislated. If there are problems inside the U.S. government, be it a Democrat administration or Republican one, if a U.S. employee sees malfeasance or illegality of any nature, there are mechanisms by which that person can report that transgression, is protected in their position. This is not what we're talking about. We are talking about the wanton stealing of the nation's secrets, and they're being divulged to people not authorized to own that information. So we take it very seriously, and so does Attorney General Sessions.
And one more on this topic. You know, when I hear some of the commentators on the left talking about how, in a way, a person who does this is doing a service to the public because the public has a right to know. And I want to jump through the set and say, you know, and figuratively slap them in the face and say, no, they don't. I mean, am I correct?
Does the general public, does everybody have the right to know the location of our undercover agents in the most dangerous parts of the world? Would it have been all right for the media to publish that we were actually storming the beaches at Normandy today on the anniversary of Operation Overlord, and not in fact what the Nazis believed, which was that we were coming at Calais? No, these kinds of things get people killed. So there are things that, of course, the public has a right to, but when it comes to national security and the protection of all of us, that's what classified information is about. Precious information related to national security. The leaking of that information is a threat to all Americans.
All right, we had another, what appears to be a terror attack, certainly in Syria. An Algerian man shot after attacking police with a hammer outside Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral. And this comes on the heels of London. And, you know, the president, I believe, rightfully tweeted out saying, hey, this just shows we need, and I think he used the word travel ban, and the media went nuts. He admitted it's a travel ban. Then they play a montage of his aides saying, or it's not a travel ban. Is there any difference? A 90-day moratorium, a 90-day travel ban, that's not what's caused the problems in the courts, in the left-wing courts, whether it's a travel ban. It certainly is a travel ban for 90 days. So, I mean, this word game, this semantics game that the media is playing, gotcha. I mean, that is just so counterproductive, is it not?
It's worse than counterproductive. It could actually endanger people. So, you know, we're not here in the White House interested in debating how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. I mean, this is just absurd. I went on CNN yesterday for my sins, and for 16 minutes, the host wanted to talk about the president's tweets. There are 7 people dead in the UK, one of our closest allies, 48 people in the hospital, half of them in intensive care, and the media wants to talk about a tweet. It's an Alice in Wonderland reality in which the mainstream media doesn't understand what the priorities are. This man was elected to protect America, to be the commander-in-chief, to bring the economy back from the doldrums. That's what MAGA means, and they're obsessing about social media. If you read this in a novel written 10 years ago, you wouldn't believe it, would you, Steve?
No, I could not imagine it. I cannot imagine, Doctor, where we are after 9/11, now coming up on 16 years after 9/11, that we make excuses, that we bend over backwards, that anybody who wants to protect the country is considered an Islamophobe or some other kind of vile name. I just can't imagine that we're here. How did it all happen? And you and I talked about this before you had your position at the White House.
Oh, it happened. It happened a long, long time ago. So when the Guevarists, the Maoists, the closet communists, the SDS, the Weathermen and Underground realized in the late 60s, early 70s that they couldn't create a Marxist revolution in America, when they totally failed with their days of rage in Chicago, they remembered what Trotsky, what Lenin, what Stalin, and what Hitler knew. Give me their children and I will control their future. So, these people became tenured professors, they became high school teachers, and the conservative right ceded the education battlefield to these radicals. And as a result, we're in an age where people actually believe voting for Bernie Sanders is a good idea as Venezuela is imploding. So it's a long, long story, Steve.
But he made $1 million reportedly last year, so he's doing fine. He has all the toilet paper. He has all the people. Right. He has all the toilet paper he wants. One of these London bombers, Doctor. One of these London bombers. I'm sorry, but when people go to Syria and then come back or make a movie with a jihad, an ISIS flag, I know police. I love police. There's no bigger supporter of law enforcement than me. But how on earth do these people get to go to Syria? We keep hearing the same story over and over. Oh, he visited Syria, he visited, wherever in Iraq, and then he came back and then he blew people up. Well, duh. Why aren't these people red flagged and put in jail or something if they're going to Syria?
Yeah, but let's be careful here. That's not the decision of the police. You're absolutely right. The police, they go into harm's way.
No, right. That's the government. That's the government. You're right.
It's policy.
Yeah,
it's policy. So look at the last 8 years. The last 8 years. I mean, I'll just talk from experience. What we've been doing with DHS. I cannot tell you the success that Secretary Kelly has had as DHS. The morale is skyrocketing. Without building a wall, we've had a 73% decrease in illegal migration across the southern border. Why? Because we're allowing law enforcement to do their job. In the past, just look, this isn't about terrorism, but it's the same kind of dynamic. When you had the Obama administration tell CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, if you arrest an immigrant that's here illegally, you have to release them. Well, what does that do for the safety of America, for illegal migration numbers in general? What does it do for the morale of those agents and those police officers? So the fault is less something to do with the men and women that wear the badge and the uniform. It is often a function of policy.
Absolutely. Cutter. How do we reconcile, sir? Today, Donald Trump, I think, also tweeted out his support for Saudi Arabia and the other 3 Arab nations that have broken ties with Qatar, said it's a validation of his foreign trip of sorts, where he naturally wants people to get tough on terror. Qatar finances terror. However, if I'm wrong and you correct me, it's also a very important military location for we have a very large base there. So how do we reconcile everything that's happening right now?
Well, very simply, there has to be a general recognition by all countries of the world and by the elites that think they know better than the general public that elected Donald Trump to be the commander-in-chief, that we have a new geopolitical order. I mean, it's really stunning that one man with his new administration has rewritten the geostrategic map globally in just the last 18 weeks. And countries have to make a decision. Countries that may have been on the fence with regards to America, nations whose members of their administration may have supported groups and organizations antithetical to the values we hold dear, they need to understand, as many in that room in Riyadh now understand, that there is a new sheriff in town, and they have to reassess their attitude to organizations they sponsor, to dynamics that are against the interests of the United States. That's the reality. The president has forced that change in just a scant few weeks.
And one more for you. The mayor of London urging that that President Trump's trip to Great Britain be put on hold or canceled. He's not getting anywhere, I don't believe, in that effort. Nonetheless, what does that say, in your view, about the mayor of London?
Well, look, he was elected by the people of London, and it's not my job to qualify that decision. But the fact is that there is a relationship that he has nothing to do with, which is the closest binding ties that we have between Washington and London. Let me tell you, as somebody who works in the national security sphere, that there are very few relationships, maybe with Israel, that are as solid and as strong as the one between 10 Downing Street, the government, the security services of Great Britain, and America. So there may be one mayor, one politician who has issues, but that will not undermine the special relationship between our two countries.
Dr. Gorka, please give our regards and greetings to the President of the United States, and thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure and an honor to speak with you, sir.
Pleasure was mine. God bless you and your viewers.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for being out there. And until next time, make sure you stay connected at newsmaxtv.com and, of course, the website newsmax.com.